Hello everyone, Rogue Fox here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today, if you haven't heard, version 1.2.11 was released for Bedrock Edition, and as you know, with any update, there are also going to be bug fixes, some minor changes in the gameplay here and there. So today, I'm not going to cover all of the changes. I will pop up a list and also provide a link in the description below. But one thing I did want to focus on, since this is mainly a Redstone channel, is the redstone that was affected. And there were quite a few things. I have them set up right here. So, a couple of side notes before we get into the redstone that I'd like to point out, and that they also highlight in the update, is that increase the speed of crop growth and grass spreading. So that's a good thing. If you've been watching me, following me in my survival series, as we're working in the foxhole, I had a bunch of dirt that I was laying all over the place, trying to get the grass to grow, and I swear that thing took ages to grow. Like, I was probably working for an hour, and yeah, nothing was really growing. So that's good. They increased the speed in that. I broke that block there. Crop growth is also increased, the speed in that. The crops seem to be growing fine for me. I haven't had any complaints about that. I know they improved the speed before in a prior update, but I guess they increased the speed even more, so I guess that's always a good thing. And let's see, I know I'm kind of just standing around, but hopefully I have a list, if I remember, to throw up on the screen, so you're looking at that instead, following along with me. Vines that don't have a support block will no longer float in midair. That's a very good one, because I get very annoyed chopping out trees in the jungle, in the swamp, and then I have vines just floating all over the air. Super annoying. Okay, so that's some things I wanted to point out in that. Like I said, I wanted to, excuse me, still a little congested. Feeling a lot better, by the way. Thank you, everyone, for your kind words and wishing me a speedy recovery. And so let's go ahead and jump into the redstone. Yeah, let's take a look at the redstone. So the first thing on the redstone list for this update is pistons no longer get into a state where they pause, activate randomly, and potentially crash the game. So I personally haven't had that problem with any of my pistons. Maybe you have, but I personally didn't. But I guess that's always a good thing. Anything that prevents crashes is always good. And now, let's see, the next thing is sticky pistons and slime blocks can no longer pull and break comparators. So I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it was. So you can no longer pull and break comparators. So I have this set up here. We got our obsidian, our slime block on our sticky piston here. So we extend this, and I guess when we would retract, it would break it. But as you can see here, that's not affecting anything. I'm sure if we throw, let's see, I'm going to throw a repeater down and see what that does. No, that doesn't do anything either. I'm not quite sure how this one works. Obviously, that's going to send that launching. But, I'm not quite sure how that works at all. So, obviously, if I have like an observer or something, that's going to pull it back. Yeah, but not quite sure how this one works. Let's go ahead and check out the sticky piston here. So, sticky piston, that would definitely pull something. Let's try a repeater. Nope, that's not going to do anything either. So, I'm not too sure about that one. But then again, if they fixed it, then it must have been some sort of issue. Once again, I've never had that kind of a problem. So, there is that covered. And, let's see. The next one, shulker boxes will no longer be dispensed as items if the dispenser is obstructed. Okay, so another problem I personally didn't run into, I haven't had shulker boxes on me that often in order to see this being a problem. But so let's say that dispenses, we get our shulker box, right? Do I still have shulkers in here? We got two more. So according to this, if we obstruct it, so if we put something there, then it will no longer be dispensed as items. So I would assume once we did that, it would shoot it out. Let's see, we have two shulkers, and we press it. Nothing is being dispensed. So I would imagine if we took these out and had regular items, wow, my inventory is full. So let's go ahead and throw in some redstone, and then if we were to dispense that, okay, that would shoot off to the side. So I imagine in the same sense the shulkers would do the same thing, they would just be dispensed off to the side. So they fixed that. That is the third thing. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the last thing. I think that is the biggest change that we're about to come up to, is burned out redstone torches will no longer reactivate until they receive a block update or are replaced. So let me go ahead and cut away, because we're going to look at this in a little more detail, because I figured this is the one that probably affected me the most, and you as well if you built a couple of my builds. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Alright, here we have a simple redstone torch burnout clock. We have actually used this before in one of the pumpkin farm designs that I've made. So the idea behind that design was that we were using the torch burnout clock. So that means if we place a piece of redstone dust here, this is going to burn out. And the thing that happened before this update is that it would reignite, flash again about every 30 seconds. So that was the idea behind this pumpkin farm right here. So we would have this set up. This would be a torch burnout clock. So if we place that there, that would break our pumpkin. And then every 30 seconds, these pistons would always extend. And if we had a pumpkin growing there, you can tell it went down into our collection system. So with this update, this design is broken. But thankfully, I have an updated version. I'll post a card in the corner that should pop up, and probably post a link to that in the description below as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it should have been 30 seconds. This should have reactivated. It doesn't. The only time it will reignite, it says reactivate until they receive a block update or are replaced. So obviously if we update this, that's going to turn back on. Let's go ahead. I don't have my quartz block. Throw that. So it'll again burn out, and then it'll just stay burned out until we give it some sort of update. So if I really want my quartz block. It just looks nicer. So let's put that up. That starts over. And let's say, will this do anything? See, we powered this. Does that give that an update? Yes. So that also gives that some sort of update. So that is probably the main thing I was focused on, was this. As I mentioned, this did affect this farm. So if you build this one's no longer going to work. And there is one more build. Let's go ahead and look at it real quickly before we wrap up. And that was recently in my hidden inputs video. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real fast. All right. So here we are at my redstone torch burnout clock input. So I think if anything, this made this a little more effective, because how this hidden input works right here, you can see we have a redstone torch. Hook it up to our T flip-flop, and then if we place our redstone dust here, that does burn it out and then toggles our signal there. So I think that actually helps us out, because now we don't have to worry about this reigniting and doing anything funny. I don't think it did before, but this kind of just makes this build a little bit stronger. And there were also a couple builds that I haven't posted yet, as far as redstone burnout doors. So I think this actually helped us out quite a bit. That works. That burns out. So yeah, that works totally fine. So, like I said, version 1.2.11 is out. With that, I always like to check any redstone changes and anything like that. So that's why we're looking at that today. Everything seems to be good, except for this burnout clock and that pumpkin farm. But other than that, yeah, if you guys want more detail, I'll post a link to the changelog in the description below. Other than that, this is the end of our video. I just want to give you guys a quick update. Keep feeling like there's something else I wanted to say. Oh yes, as far as mobs, that is one more highlight I wanted to bring up. Mobs reduced the explosion range of creepers, and then Endermen that are aggravated will now take fall damage, as they should, blah blah blah. Unfortunately, there's nothing about slimes and their increased rate of spawning. So, that's very sad, but hopefully they will address that issue. Other than that, this is the end of our video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Rogue Fox, and I'm out. I'll see you later.